Hello and welcome. I'm Jill Maurer, and today I'm going to talk all about how I shoot YouTube videos, and more accurately, how we shoot YouTube videos. I do not do this alone. In fact, Artimus is the brains behind shooting the YouTube videos. You may know Artimus a little more if you listen to the Maurer podcast. We are often bantering back and forth with each other there. Artimus is a filmmaker, and he is actually the one who talked me into doing YouTube in the first place. And there's a lot more that goes into shooting and editing a YouTube video than you might think. We start by deciding what videos we're going to shoot, and we generally shoot 3 to 7 videos in a day. So we plan ahead about what we want to talk about. We look and see if people have requested videos. We generally keep a list of video ideas so that we have some thought out in advance, and some are more topical depending on what's going on. So we'll check the news and we'll check what people have requested, and we'll check our list and just decide which videos we're going to shoot for that day. We need to pick a day that's relatively quiet when we can. Sometimes there's construction around me, which can be loud, and also if anybody's doing the lawn, that kind of thing we want to avoid. We also think about lighting because we use the sun as one of our main lights, and you'd think that a bright sunny day would be the best, and it is not. It causes weird bouncy reflections in this room. We prefer a cloudy day or even a rainy day to shoot the videos. I prepare by doing my makeup, making sure my hair is done, all of that. I usually just pick out a few outfits because we shoot a few things at a time, and so I just pick out a few things. These are all mine. Sometimes I actually use Rent the Runway and I'll have different options. And I just usually want something with a little bit of color, a little bit of interest. Usually. Sometimes we do something plainer. It just depends. We vary it up. It's also good to have a rack like this because we do multiple videos in a day, and I like to kind of pre-select what I want to wear for those videos, so I'm not looking in my entire closet. I've already done some pre-selecting, and then I'll try something on. We'll make sure it looks good on camera. Different days, different things look different.
So while Jill's getting ready to do her video, I'm usually out here setting up all of her equipment. Now for the equipment we're using, we like to use the Canon 60D. It's a DSLR, and what's nice about this model, even though it's a little bit older, is it has the screen that actually comes out and turns around. Sometimes when Jill's filming by herself, she needs to see herself, or if I need her to move just a little bit, it's easier for me to turn the screen and actually show her what's going on without her having to get up and look at it. All of the equipment that we get, we make sure that it's stuff that we can take with us traveling. So everything that we use here is the same stuff we use out in the field. So everything's very light, compact, and we can take it with us. We use a 3-point lighting system, which means we have one big light. This is the one we use for that. It has 4 light bulbs in it, and it has this cool little softbox thing that goes over it. And that's really the main light that we use to make sure that you can really see Jill. For the second point in the 3-point lighting system, we have this one, which is just about the same. It's only got 1 bulb. I usually put this just behind Jill off camera so that it gives her a little bit of a halo effect. It's a good way to separate your subject from the background. Now in a 3-point lighting system, usually you would have a third one that's a fill light. What this does is it fills in all of the extra shadows. But one thing we like to do is use wherever we're at to do that for us. So Jill has these huge windows here in her house. So rather than bring in a third light to try to fill in shadows, we usually position her so that this is what's filling in that shadow for her. It's another good way to make your shoots go a little bit faster. You want to use as little equipment as possible to make sure you can actually get to making the stuff you're trying to make. So now that Jill's lit, we're ready to shoot.
I'm lit. What? Artimus sets up the light, sets up the camera, we set up the chair. We usually take a test shot just to see how the lighting looks and, whether I need to put on more lipstick or, whatever. He also sets up the microphone. He always asks me to say something. You'd think that he'd ask me to say something else, but not even something else. Every time he asks me to say something. So I oblige. Then, if we remember, we start by shooting the thumbnail, because if we don't, we will forget. And as it turns out, I don't smile a lot, and so he has trouble finding a thumbnail within the video. Imagine that. I'm not sure why that is. So we try to make sure to shoot the thumbnail. We might have some sort of little prop to do that, and then we start to film. And normally when we're filming, there are a few different places that we film, but I'm sitting looking right at the camera, And Artimus is usually off to the right, looking at me, looking at the camera. And it's very important for me. You might notice that I gaze deeply into your eyes. And the reason I do that is I'm desperately trying not to see Artimus out of my peripheral vision, because he's usually doing things like this. So he's doing it right now. So I try to avoid looking at him at all costs. He is supposed to tell me if anything is wrong, like if my necklace is turned or whatever, that kind of stuff. He's not always so good at that kind of stuff, but what he does tell me is if I need to say something again, or if I forgot to say something, or something about the flow, he'll tell me there.
Jill, can you cheer up when you say that?
And if I say anything ridiculous, he usually lets me know. We do edit because Artimus has this skill of editing. I know that he's going to edit. We both know that he's going to edit. So I'll try some things, I'll say some things that never get shown because we're just trying it on to see how it works. Since he can edit, I know every sentence will come out perfect. And sometimes he takes out extraneous words like ohs, ums, and so's. I usually break the video up into intro, and then sort of the meat of the video and the outro. Once that is all filmed and we feel like we've gotten enough, sometimes we'll stop and we'll say, did we really get enough, or is there something else we should add? Is there a little more we should do? If so, I'll sit down and do it right then. So then it goes to the post-production phase. Generally, it starts with the rough cut. Artimus will edit out the extraneous things and will put together the story. So it's called the rough cut. He gives it to me, and then I view that and see what I think about it, if there are things that I know that I said that I think should be added, or if there's more that should be cut out, or if it just makes sense in general. So I will give him some comments and some ideas. Then he works on the final cut. The final cut is for the really technical things, making sure that everything is right, that the sound is good, and that everything just looks good, and that we are saying what we want to say. And then he'll upload that, and we will schedule it for release. And then during that time when it's sitting there waiting to be released, which can be just a couple of days, or it can be a week depending on how, or more depending on how much we've done, how many we've done in advance, I go in and I do the closed captioning. So I go through and listen to every word and make sure that the closed captioning is correct. And finally, we add all of the tags. We think about what tags it should have. We think about the title. We do the description, make sure that we have linked anything that we have said that we would link. Sometimes there are recipes, depending on if it's I haven't done any food videos, but if it's a drink video, we'll do recipes. And we just make sure that it is all packaged and tidy and neat in the way that it should be. And then it will publish when it's scheduled to publish. And then when it publishes, I try to make sure that I'm nearby, near the computer, and that I am responding to any comments. I will sometimes share it on other social media, my Facebook, I might tweet about it, and just generally let people know. And by the way, if you want to share it, that would be good too. Making YouTube videos is a lot harder than it looks, even with the support that I have, even with somebody helping me and who's done all this before and really knows how it's done. In the beginning, I was a mess. I mean, if you go back and look at some of my earlier videos, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see how nervous I really was. And we'd have to do take after take, and Artimus was trying to get me to just relax and to just talk into the camera. And it wasn't that easy. We would actually watch each video before we took everything down, just to make sure we had something that he could work with. And then as I've done it more and more, I relax a little more. We have a rhythm together. I understand more about how the editing works. So I know that if I say something, I don't have to, if I say something wrong, I don't have to panic. I can just stop, I just pause. Usually I clear my throat and I start again. And I know that none of that will actually be in the final cut. So I feel like I'm improving. I hope you can see that. And if you're starting some videos and you think, I just look like this freaked out robot, you probably do, but it gets better. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the part where I ask you to comment below. And generally I ask you to comment something about the video. So comment something about the video. Have you ever made YouTube videos? Do you do it completely differently? Have you ever thought about what goes behind making your favorite videos? Let me know in the comments below. I also ask you at this time to subscribe, and you haven't yet. So subscribe. Bye for now.